Hello, welcome to Scale Modeling, and welcome to part 4, our 1-200 Yamato build. So in this video, we're up to the two other aircraft, which are, put that aside, these ones here, the Mitsubishi, and they're the biplanes that go on the catapult. There's two of these to build. One I'll do on camera, the other one I'll do off camera. Let's have a look at the anatomy of a ship and we'll see what they really look like. Okay, so there's our images we can use for reference, particularly for the color and the decals. They look really good. And there's also a shot of them on the catapults, so they'll be positioned on the ship. And there they are there. Okay, so let's get into this. We've got our color codes here for the Mitsubishi aircraft here, same as the two we built in the last video. And here they are here, they're already taken off the sprue. Well, this one is, the other one I'll do later. And I'm about to go and paint these primer. This one decided to use the liquid mask instead of masking tape for the two little canopies. This worked really well on the last one, and they're very, very small, so much easier to use liquid mask. Anyway, I'll go and give these a priming black primer by Outlaw Paints, and we'll come back and have a look at them. Okay, back in a sec. Okay, so got those painted, and while they're drying, I thought I'd just do some photo etch. There's a few bits to go on here. I'll do what I did last time. I'll paint them on the sprue. They hardly needed any touch up, so they were fine. So I'm going to undercoat them on here, and then I'll do them the green when I do the rest of it, the green. The carts that they sit on, little carriage, I put them together, I bent them into position, and like before, I'll just spray them separately, and I'll just test fit them first too, just to make sure they're folded exactly where I want them before I put any glue on there. Okay, so again, get these painted up and come back. Okay, welcome back. I just started doing the second aircraft while the parts were drying on the undercoat. I'll just bring them over now, move this out of the way. And so there's our black primer on. And I've just realized I forgot to mask up the canopies on there, didn't I? Not thinking. Anyway, yeah, silly mistake there. Might have to scrape the paint off. I'll figure that out. So they're all primed, the wings, that wing, the float, and ready for some other colours. Also for masking, I'll need to mask up because we've got to use the sky. That's not it. The sky colour underneath. The trolleys they sit on, primed up as well. They just need a grey. Do them separately later. And yeah, I don't know if I showed you, there's the photo etch primed up as well. Be hitting that with the green when I do these. But yeah, I've got to work out that canopy thing now. Yeah, what am I going to do there? I'll work it out. I might even just paint it silver. I'll figure it out. All right, we'll be back in a sec. Actually, I was just looking at it and realised I did put the mask on. There it is there. I did do the liquid mask on there. It's just gone on so well that you can't even tell. But yeah, there is mask on there, so that'll peel off. Good, that saved a problem. What I do have to remember to do is put some mask on this little fella before I paint it, which I'll leave that right here so I remember. Okay, yeah, all right, no problem. I will continue on. Back in a sec. Hey, welcome back everyone. So I've painted these in the sky color underneath they're supposed to be, and then taped over them to protect them because I need to do the rest green. We don't want green getting on the bottom of the wings, so they're masked up, and then we can spray the green on there. Same with the float, with green on the top part, the bottom will stay the lighter color. I'll do all the other parts as well, and the really tiny little floats that I have here, I'll just hand brush the base of them in the lighter color as well. I'll also do the photo etch that I've primed, and we'll hit that with the green also. Okay, I'm still putting together the second aircraft, which I'm doing off camera, and I think I showed you that. They're ready to do the ship grey at any time. All right, so yeah, I'll go paint these up, and we'll see how they come up. Okay, back in a sec. Okay, we're back. So I did the little cradles. They're in the IGN grey. So I'm just going to let them dry. These are done in the green now, so I'm just about to take the tape off because I don't want the tape being on any longer than it needs to be. And I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to do that now without touching where I shouldn't be, which is something I didn't think of. I'm actually going to have to wait until that's a bit drier. But you can see the green on that come up really nice. Yeah, I'll actually come back and take that off. The other aircraft is just done in primer. I primed it all up. It's out, so it's out there drying. It won't take long at all. It's a good 30 degrees Celsius here today, so drying time's going to be really short. So looking really good. We might just go and have a quick look at where we're at. So the first aircraft is completely done. Mitsubishi is all put together other than the upper wing, which needs the 2 bits of plastic and the photo etch that it sits on top of. And then we've got the float and the other 2 floats either side, which will sit on the bottom of that wing. That's all done, that's put together, that's all fine. So we're not far off. But of course we've got decals to go on these as well. So for the decals, you'll have your color guide reference sheet here. All the usual, pretty much the same as what went on the other 2 aircraft, other than extra 2 yellow stripes on the leading edge of the wings, upper and lower, and same stripes on that tail. We'll have to be careful here. If you remember in the last video, they were labelled wrong on the decal sheet. So hopefully they should be okay. For this one, we'll check when we get to that. And that's good. So going to our anatomy of a ship, this is what we're trying to achieve, our final look. There is some grey underneath here, I noticed, and up on the side of the float there. Now, I don't know if I will hand brush that to recreate that or just leave that green. The other aircraft, it's all green, so I might just do that. I will be hand brushing underneath these floats either side because they were just too small to mask up, so I'll just hand brush those on, and it should come up all right. We've got the propeller as well that's going to be done the same as the underside, so we'll do that. And there's the underside view there. Sorry about the glare. That's how it should look from underneath, which it will. We'll get that looking like that. Okay. All right, excellent. Okay, so I'll come back when we can take that mask off. To me, it'll be about, give it a half an hour, that's all. To you guys, it'll be about 1 second. All right, back shortly. Okay, welcome back again. So these are dry enough to handle now, so confident I can remove that. And let's take off this. And it looks good. Okay. Very good. There's a little bit of touch up under there, but otherwise it looks fine. Put that down. Now we'll take off the one on the float here. And this should be simple. There we go. 2. There'll be, that's fine. No touch up required on that. Come up fine. And then the top wing. Just peel this back. And there it is. Perfect. Alright, that was the best way of doing that, I think. Well. Alright. So the next thing on these is pretty much put them together. I've still got the photo etch to take off. Being metal, I want to let that dry just a little bit more before I start clipping them off. The bottoms of these, like I said, I was just going to hand paint those, so I'll do that now actually, get that done and let them dry. And yeah, good to go for a bit more progress. These little carriages are done in the grey, so they're all finished, ready to go on the planes. And good, so while I touch up those and put them to dry, the other plane I've done, which is in the undercoat, should be ready to mask up like I did for this one. Well, actually, first I'll spray it with this colour. I did that without masking, I think. Did I? Yeah. Yeah, I did. That's right. Then I masked and sprayed over with the green. Good. All right. Back again in a sec. Hey, welcome back, guys. So let me show you some progress. There it is. So I've put the photo etch on the inside struts there. I've still got the propeller to paint. I need to clear coat this and do decals. One thing to note here is on the top of the fuselage where these struts go, one of them, on one side there's a little mounting point that you can put it in, where the one goes on the other side, there isn't one there. I checked on the other aircraft as well and there is no mounting point. So there's probably just a bit of an error in the kit. So on this one here you can see there's a little square there where the photo etch sits in. This side there's nothing. So really you might want to just trim the photo etch just a little bit and just sit it against the fuselage, and it turns out okay. Because of that I had to fiddle around with it a bit, getting them lined up, and I've knocked some paint off, so I'll have to touch up just a little bit of paint in there where the photo etch is showing through. Of course the canopy masks I've left on right through at this stage, and also with the, after I clear coat and everything's done, then I'll take them off. Because I noticed on the other two aircraft I did, I I took them off before I clear coated, and it sort of fogged up the plastic on the canopy. So yeah, this time they won't be fogged up. Okay, yeah, the trolley is connected onto the bottom there as well. Hand painted the bottom of the floats under there, and it's come up all right. Now I have to go and spray the underside of this, the same as underside of that, same with the wings and the float. And then when that dries, mask it up and do everything that I did on that one there, repeated, so we have 2 of them. But for us here, I will touch up those little bits, clear coat, and I guess we'll get some decals ready to go, and I'll paint up the propeller as well. All right, be back in a sec. Okay, welcome back everyone. So here's our clear coated aircraft ready for the decals to go on. And here's our decals. Pretty much the same as the last aircraft, except the decal across the top wing is in 5 parts. So we just have to make sure we get them in the correct order across that top wing. And then on the bottom wing, there's a few as well, underneath on the underside there. So shouldn't be too much of a problem. I don't know why they've separated that into 3, 4, 5 pieces across the top instead of 1 or 2 decals, but that's the way it is. Looking in the anatomy of the ship, we see some nice photos here that show them all. Get the glare off, there we go. These bits here with the stripes on the tail, I've checked them and they are correct, whereas the other 2 aircraft, they had the numbers mixed up on the decal sheet, but these are correct, following the directions. There's our pieces across here, which, I mean, this is not the actual model, but it does seem to show it as 1 piece, but yeah, they connect like it's 1 piece, but it's actually 5. Yeah. So we'll put that aside and get on to doing the decals. And I've got my Mark Fit Strong, my go-to for the decals setting properly, and they went really well down on the last 2 aircraft, so hopefully we get the same result this time. Bit of water here, ready to go, with a toothpick just for handling them, paper towel there, and our reference. Once again, as I mentioned in the last video, try to use scissors to remove them. It makes a cleaner cut. You're less likely to bend any decals that you might come close to. Also, using a blade, more chance of slipping and cutting something you don't want to cut. Okay, so I'll get on, make a start, and we'll come back and have a look as I've got a few pieces on. Okay, be back a sec. Okay, welcome back. So the decals are going on really nicely. Actually, they're going on absolutely perfectly. You can see the panel lines going through them. They seem big, the decal, but once they go on, and using Mark Fit Strong, just leave them, and they'll settle in, and they'll go into those grooves of the panel lines, and they've actually set in there perfectly. Same with the back ones, they were fine. The correct numbers, correct decal numbers are no problem at all. Something else I noticed as a tip, I used to use these to help, just absorb up some of the excess water and anything that Mark Fit around them. But I've found that the fibers come off them, and sometimes you can get them stuck under your decal or on there, and not really good. Now I use these. They don't have any fibers come off. They're much better. You can wipe them over there. Nothing's going to come off them, and they're absolutely perfect. These are from Icky Sticky, and they're microfiber, micro brush applicators. What I'm using here is 2.5 millimeters. They go down to a millimeter in width, and amongst other things, they're really good for putting your decals on. Just a little tip there. All right, so I'll continue on. I've got the yellow bits to do on the wings here, and some more underneath. So we'll come back again. All right, back in a sec. Hey, welcome back. So, decals are on our first aircraft. They went on nicely as usual, like they did the last one. Was one problem though. The instructions here again. So here they tell you the decals to use a number 17, 20, and 21. So it's got 17 plus 20 plus 21, pointing at that one. So you would think it would be number 17, then 20, then 21. So I thought I'll do the middle one first, and then I'll do each end so I get them centered and the right even lengths. So I took off number 20, put that in the center, and realized that number 17 is the one that goes in the center, and 20 and 21 are equal longer ones that go on the outside. So yeah, so what it should say is, if it's going to be pointing to the first one, it should say 20, then 17, the next one, and then 21. Anyway, as you can see, I've got it on. I had to cut one of them in half, modify it, get them even, but I got it on. But just be aware of that, to get those numbers right. Also, I noticed in the instructions that the propeller is not the color underneath like it is on the other two aircraft. It's actually wood brown. I noticed here they're showing Mr. Hobby 37 to 40 and 43, which is wood brown. So I used the Tamiya paint, but I painted that up in the brown, so that looks good. So yeah, that one's done. What I'll do now is I'll just let that top decal dry, because that's the last one I did. And then I'll clear coat it again. And then once that dries, I'll actually be able to take the mask off the canopies there so that they're nice and clear. All right, and then while all that's happening, I'll finish up the other plane, which is still needs to be done in the green. I don't think I've done it green yet. No. Well, actually, just here. So there's the other aircraft. So yeah, I've done the underside. Just got to mask that up and do it green. Pretty much copy exactly what it's there, but I won't do all that on video because you've already seen me do it once. All right, so we'll come back and have a look at that when we start taking that mask off the canopy. See how that goes. Okay, be back then. Hello, welcome back. So here it is, the two aircraft completed. All the decals are on. As you can see, both come up really nice. I'll put a photo up in the corner so you can see a bit clearer. So they will go into the box for step 3. I've also taken the liquid mask off the canopies, so you can see them. That came off easily, so very good stuff, that liquid mask. So they'll go into the box for quite a long time, and I'll put them with the videos, the aircraft we built in the last video, which are here, and they get put away with all the ship's boats. Now, going to the instructions, first of all, we'll look at the manual, the anatomy of a ship. So they're all done now, and I think I got them looking pretty much like that, so I'm very happy with that. The instructions, moving on, is here. So all this is complete now. The cage that sits on the bottom, the trolley, is done and connected, so that's all completed. I'm using a online PDF version of this. And I'm actually marking it off on that as well as I go. So that's step 3 done. On to the next video. We have step 4, and we're starting on the actual hull of the ship here. And so what I'm going to have to do is clear some room up here, rearrange things because I'm going to need a lot of space, and make a start on this. I guess the first thing will need to be done is the 2 sides glued together. Make sure the braces are tight. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be put on the hull of the ship, and they're found on some of the sprues, which I've already got ready here. So I washed them and they're all prepared. So we'll need parts of these 2, 3 sprues I've got here. I think it's these water pipes. I think they're water drainage pipes, but we'll have a look at that. So that's going to be in the next video. And yeah, so look forward to you following me along, and we'll get started on the actual ship itself, and looking forward to it. All right, so if you haven't already, please subscribe and hit that like button. Share the video if you want to share it out to anywhere, any of your social groups, and put your comments below. Comments are always welcome below, and we'll get on with it and move on to, which will be, I think, part 4, I think we're at. Let me just check that. Okay, make that part 5. This is part 4. All right, part 5 it is. Okay, I'll see you all then. Okay, bye for now. Cheers.